Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome into On Deck. I'm Tyler Redmond, and today I'm coming to you with something just a little bit out of the ordinary. I know that there's been a lot of tributes for Casey Motter over the past week since he passed away, and I wanted to do sort of the same thing, but I wanted to put a little bit of personal touch on it. Casey was also a very good friend of mine, alongside being the public address announcer for the Braves for so many years. He was a very good friend of mine. And I wanted to tell you just how we met, the friendship we had, and just everything. So, to start from the beginning, about 2 years ago, I reached out to Casey via Facebook about doing the intro that you actually just heard. And Casey was more than happy to do it, which took me by surprise. I didn't expect anything. I was just sort of hoping for the best. And, he sort of, he wanted to know what it was for. I sent him the link to my channel, and he started watching some of the stuff. He'd see me on camera talking to you guys. But the one thing that caught his eye, being that he was a longtime Braves fan, was the interview I did with Chief Nakahoma, who's also a very good friend of mine. And he thought that was just the coolest thing because he met Chief Nakahoma back when he was a kid at the TP back in the day. So he thought that was just so cool. And obviously, I thought what he did was pretty cool too. So a friendship was inevitable. But the thing that I will remember most about Casey is the constant support that I got from him. When I go to the ballpark, when I go to Truist Park, there's 5 or 6 people that I have to go see, that I just see out, that I want to go talk to. Whether it be a cameraman, security guard, Walter Banks, whoever it may be, there's a few people that are like that. And because of the friendship that I built with Casey over these past couple of years, Casey became one of those people. And it may be that I was texting him during the game. It may be that, I let him know I was coming beforehand. Whatever the case may be, Casey always made himself available. And just a month ago, I was in the press box with him after a game, just chatting away about whatever. He would introduce me to people that he worked with. And, he always wanted to share his experiences, his gift, all of that. He wanted to share it with people, and I was lucky enough to be one of those people. That was, unfortunately, the last time I saw Casey in person. I will tell you that he loved what he did. He did it with a lot of passion. Me and Casey had a lot of conversations, a lot of long conversations. We would have hour-and-a-half conversations on the phone. Occasionally we would sit and talk for a long time when he could. Whether it would be about what I want to do in the future, what I'm doing now, what he's doing, whatever the case may be, or just conversations about life. And I'll tell you, in this business, in this field, it is rare for somebody to encourage you. And Casey Motter was by far one of the most encouraging people that I've ever met. And the thing he told me constantly that's going to stick with me forever is, Tyler, you can do this. This is not impossible. You can do this. And I've always appreciated that. He treated me like a friend the moment I met him. I never had to prove myself to Casey. And I'll tell you a funny story. We got lunch in LaGrange about a week before the season started this year. And we talked forever about whatever, just normal conversation, whether it be memories he had, of games he watched, or, concerts he'd seen in the stadium, or whatever the case may be. We talked forever about memories we had. I'd tell him from my perspective when I was a kid, whatever the case may be. We just had a long conversation. And I asked him, I was like, look, this might be crazy, but would you mind recording my voicemail for me? Is that possible? And he thought about it, and he eventually agreed to it after a little bit of, come on, do it. And guys, I'll be honest with you, I think I have one of the coolest answering machines ever.
Hello, baseball fans. You have reached the number of Tyler Redmond from Braves on Deck. Leave a message, and he'll get back to you as soon as possible.
That famous hello, baseball fans, it's kind of funny because now I have friends that call me, proceed to tell me to hang up because they just want to hear the voicemail. They just want to get a laugh out of the voicemail, or whatever the case may be. But I love it. I think it's funny. I think it's cool. And Casey thought it was pretty funny too. It was funny because I had a missed call from him one day, so he had to hear himself. But me and Casey had a very good relationship and fun relationship, and I'll tell you that you know, Truist Park has lost a major component of what made the experience that we all know and love, and that's Casey's booming voice. But I also lost a friend, and a lot of people lost a friend. I operate on a strange schedule, so I was asleep when the news broke. I woke up to uh, 13 missed phone calls, about 50 text messages asking about this situation. And, it took me a couple of days to really process it, to really understand what had happened. And I did what a lot of people do. I went back and looked at all of our text messages and conversations. And, he texted me Happy New Year, Happy Birthday, all throughout the postseason last year, sending me pictures from the press box, sending me pictures of him and Joe Buck, sending me pictures of him in the press box with the entire staff, whatever the case may be. He would make sure that I felt included in some form or fashion. And if I was at a game, I would text him from my seat to the press box, and he would find out what section I was in, and somehow or another, he would get me and my friends up on the big screen. And that's the kind of thing, that says something about somebody to me is what do you do when nobody's looking? What do you do when you could do nothing? And Casey was a great person. He was a great friend. And, something that always surprised me about Casey, and this is something you may not know, he was nervous sometimes. And, he would text me during the games, how do I sound? Do I sound okay? And for the record, he never sounded bad. There was never a day that I remember that Casey sounded bad. But he had those moments of self doubt, which I always thought was crazy. With someone who's as talented as he was, who was experienced as he was, who did as many games as he did, there were times that he felt the pressure. And he was so humble, he was in no danger, trust me. He was just so talented. And I'll tell you, all this week, if there was one guy that I would want to talk to right now, it would be Casey Motter. Unfortunately, I can't. And the one regret that I have is we had talked about doing an interview, just a long style interview. And we had planned it. We had everything planned except when we were going to do it. We tried to do it before the season. It just never really happened. And I think we both took it for granted a little bit. I don't think either one of us would have pictured that this would be where we are right now. I wish I could have documented a long conversation between us because there was always just an interesting little note or things that he had seen in his career with the Braves. And, he was honestly just a ray of positivity more than anything. And you really don't understand that unless you've met him. And that's the best thing I can say about him. He's just a ray of positivity. And I'll tell you, I went to his funeral a couple of days ago, which, by the way, was a very nice service. And tons of people that were there that spoke echoed exactly what I just told you. The same story over and over again. The key to that is Casey made people feel important. And I think that says a lot about him. The chaplain for the Atlanta Braves gave a message, and he reflected on his experience with Casey because Casey was involved with the Bible studies they would have as a staff and things like that. He spoke with him on a daily basis. He spoke with the chaplain of the Braves on a daily basis. They had a very good relationship. And I think the chaplain put it into great perspective. He said that Casey built a platform, right? Casey, whether it be with his career with the Braves, whether it be with his app, which if you don't know, you ought to go check it out. Casey would always promote it. Ballpark DJ app. It's basically where little leaguers or anybody really can pay a couple of dollars and have Casey say their name like they're big leaguers. So all across the country, there's little leagues, entire little leagues, with kids being announced like they're playing for the Atlanta Braves. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I wish it was around when I played ball, but Casey, and this is what the chaplain said, Casey not only built that platform, but he built steps to that platform. He was never, out of reach. And I've seen articles with quotes from Casey. All this week I've read all these articles about Casey, and they've all been positive. I'm glad to see that the baseball world is showing some love to Casey. I thought what the Phillies did and the Reds did were both very classy. I think the way the Braves have handled this has been very classy. But a quote that I saw that Casey said that I'd never heard before. He never said this to me, but it demonstrates who Casey is, and it's, we should all find time to use our gifts to create our own field of dreams. Casey found that gift, obviously in his voice, but he found a way to use that gift beyond being in the press box, beyond a 9 inning game. He found a way to give it to other people. He found a way to build steps to his platform. And I'll tell you, Casey had a very unpredictable rise to where he got to. It wasn't just that he went to school for broadcasting and graduated and got hired and gradually moved up. No, Casey was, I believe, doing the PA announcements for youth baseball and football games when he was discovered by Frank Wren in 2006 or 7. So to have something like that, it changed his life, obviously. It's something he was very proud of and something he was very proud to do every day. But he created a life with that gift that he loved and lived out a dream of announcing the World Series last year. I can't think of a better way to go out. And I will tell you, Casey is a World Series champion, but he's a champion of life as well. And I'm headed to the park tonight. Some of you may be there. This will be the first time I'm at the park without Casey's voice being in there, and I'm sure it's going to be different. But I know Casey will be watching. I know he'll be watching the rest of the season and till the end of time. And with that said, this is goodbye, but, we'll see each other again one day. So that's just my experience with Casey Motter. I'm sure some of you have experiences with Casey. I'd love to hear your stories in the comment section. I'll be sure to get back to you and talk with you about it. But Casey may be gone, but he'll never be forgotten in Braves country. That's going to do it for today. Again, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. We'll see you next time right here at On Deck.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.